All right, so first things first, my chair don't dump me here. Start this out right. What's up YouTube, Shane Heath here, and I'm back with another video. Now, I've noticed this spring that I've been doing something totally wrong in my lawn care program here. I've been trying to wake up my warm season grass completely wrong, doing it exactly how I don't need to do it. This year I figured out how the proper way to do it is, and today we're gonna walk through that, but first, let's get down here and we're gonna talk about my Zoysia. All right, so this seems to be the money shot right here. It seems like if you're a famous YouTuber doing lawn care, you gotta take shots laying in your yard with your neighbors looking at you all funny because you're talking to the grass here. But here if we see, my Zoysia is starting to green up. I'm starting to get that push here. But if you look here, we just come through and we just cut this down. This wasn't a scalp. All I did was cut this on the lowest setting the Time Master would do, which I think is 1.25 inches. During the summer, I normally cut this at 1 inch and I think it's 1.75 inches is what the setting is. But I came through here and you can tell I've barely cut the top of the Zoysia blades here, but I really took the ryegrass way down. This is really gonna help, come later in the summertime, we're gonna get this green up over top of this brown. Now this entire pile is what come out of my yard today. Everything you see here. Now this is probably 2.5, 3 feet tall here. This was completely flat ground. This is everything I just took off today, and today's still pre-scalp or cut down, whatever you would call it. So now it's time to play that footage, the time lapse, cutting this down. You're gonna see how much I really took off, and it was a pain. I was out here for a long time. And yes, I did double cut it. You'll see here, I'll go 2 different directions. All right, so I'm gonna jump in right here because I did promise a giveaway at 1K subscribers. We got there. We've actually surpassed it now. I'm a little bit late with this, I'm sorry. All right, so here's how it's gonna work. I'm gonna send somebody a free bag of fertilizer from yardmastery.com. So in the comments below, you have to comment which bag you actually think will work best for your yard or which one you're excited to try out. And the winner will actually get sent that bag, and I will pick that in the next video, or maybe 2 weeks from now, we'll pick that. All right, so now you have to be subscribed and you have to leave it in the comments below. Like I said, it has to contain what type of fertilizer from Yard Mastery you like. That's the only way you're gonna win. Now back to today's content. Hey, we've been trying to reach you about your mower's extended warranty. All right, so we just finished up the yard work for today. Threw a rack of ribs on the grill. We got dinner cooking. Got some nice cold beverage here. And we're gonna sit down. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I've been doing wrong every spring for the past, 2 years, because this year I was a little bit more correct on my timing here and what I thought the process was gonna be. So let's talk about it. So, first things first. My chair don't dump me here. Start this out right. So let's talk about what I've been doing wrong every spring. So of course, like the newbie I was, I thought the more nitrogen that I would throw down, the faster my yard would turn green. I really thought that was the reasoning behind it. You throw nitrogen down, you get more growth, your yard's greener faster. And I was completely wrong. That was the totally wrong thought process. The more nitrogen I threw down wasn't helping me one bit in the springtime. Now for my warm season grass, cool season guys, y'all are totally different. I don't really know a whole lot about cool season grass except for when I throw down my ryegrass and I do an overseed. That's about the only time I even mess with it. So what did I do differently this year? Well, first things first, didn't go with the high nitrogen. Well, actually, I've done 2 videos so far. I'll link both of them up above. Go check them out. The first 2 steps I've done so far to get my yard ready for the summertime and starting spring out, first thing I did. This year I went with the 12-12-12 starter fertilizer from Yard Mastery. Great stuff. Love it. Then I put down my Prodiamine, 007 Prodiamine. It's a 7% potassium. Then I also did SeaK this year, which is 005. So here's the kicker. Now, the stress blend that you can get from Yard Mastery is a 7020. So this year I did a 12-12-12, a 007, and a 005. So if you add all that up, I did a 12-12-24. I really noticed that my yard is greener than it's ever been this time of year, and the temperatures haven't been any warmer. We've really got about the same amount of rain. So don't ask me why I never put 2 and 2 together that your grass is gonna be super stressed coming out of winter. Winter is a stress factor on the grass. Being dormant and being cold, it is stressful. Why would you not put more potassium in there to help with stress? So this year, that's what I did. Putting down more potassium, I've helped that stress factor out. Our grass is not stressed like it was, and it is actually being able to wake up and get going a little bit sooner. And then during the summertime is when it's time we really start pushing it a little bit harder. You know, the growth curve comes in spring, summer is the peak, and then we start tapering back down into the fall. More of the story, nitrogen is not what you need during the springtime if you have warm season grass. Push the potassium. That will really help you out. And now the SeaK help, I'm gonna do a video later on showing if I can even tell if there was any results. So far, I think it's working. I like what it's doing for my yard. I guess this will be my third video this spring here of my step-by-step process of how I'm waking up my grass here. This is how we're trying to get our spring going. I'm way ahead of the game this year as I was last year. Now remember, my yard was bare dirt 2 Aprils ago. So I've come a long ways here. And now make sure you stay tuned because I'm gonna get up here and I'm gonna scalp my Bermuda off in about the next 2 weeks. The historic last freeze for North Carolina is April 1st or through April 11th. So somewhere in there, I'll be able to look at the weather and tell if there's a freeze coming. I can get that scalp down and we'll get it going. But right now I'm just focusing on my Zoysia. To be honest, my Zoysia seems to wake up faster than my Bermuda every year so far, or at least last year and this year. I can tell my Zoysia is way ahead of the game. But it also will last a little bit longer into the fall than my Bermuda will. And now a little tip that I've noticed, I saw somebody else talk about this and I tried it out. If you take your Time Master and you go one setting higher on the backside, so I had it on, I think it was F, which is the lowest setting on the front, and then E on the backside. So it had a little bit of a tilt to it. It keeps the transmission from dragging as bad, or I think that's the transmission housing in the back of it. It cuts at an angle a little bit, and it seems to work a lot better. I've got where I always cut my grass with that angle in it now, and I love my Time Master. That's the best purchase I ever made. I also had the recycler. Love that thing also. Those are 2 lawnmowers I highly recommend. Now there is links below for everything I talked about today. Now I will say those are affiliate links. They will help out the channel tremendously, so please, thank you guys for using them. Make sure you hit like if you enjoyed today's video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. I'm just a normal guy who spends way too much time in my yard, way too much time in my garage, and way too much time in my vehicles. And now that's it for my weekday yard work. That's all I have for today. So until next time, just Shane Heath checking out. Is anybody else's yard just covered with these things? These guys love my deck.